Hello there, my name is Sixo, but more on that later because we're going to do another of those. They've revealed some toys and we're going to talk about it, jobbers. And yes, jobbers is a technical term. And today I wanted to put the spotlight on one toy specifically, which was revealed with the rest of Age of the Primes Wave 3, which we already looked at in a previous video, but this is something a little bit special. Because they've only gone and done another Alpha Trion toy, haven't they? And I think this looks great. Honestly, there's a lot to say about this one, and quite a few nods to Transformers history that you may not know about. Or maybe you do, I mean, you've got TF Wiki too, I don't know. So anyway, look, the rumours of this reveal were slightly overshadowed by people asking why we need another one, considering that there already is a Generations Alpha Trion which was just released as part of Legacy. So do you really need both? And why does this one look a bit different? Well, we're going to get to all of that. Firstly, unlike the Legacy toy, which is based on Alpha Trion's kind of classic old man appearance, forgive me for saying, this new one is based on his younger self. Now, a lot of people have been referring to this as A3, which was the character's name before he became Alpha Trion in the original cartoon, except that's not quite right. Yes, you see, there was a season 3 episode called Forever is a Long Time Coming, and in that we do meet A3 as the kind of younger version of Alpha Trion, but you'll see that he's even younger than this version. You can tell that because he hasn't got a completely grey mustache yet, right? That's how you can tell you're an old man. Anyway, the Age of the Primes toy is based on another episode called War Dawn, where the Aerobots travel back in time to Cybertron's golden age, and they do indeed meet Alpha Trion's younger self. Now here, he's not actually called Alpha Trion specifically, nor indeed is he referred to as A3, he's just an unnamed character, but it's very clear who it's meant to be, right? In this episode, we see that it's Alpha Trion that rebuilt Orion Pax into Optimus Prime, which might all sound like concepts that people kind of know nowadays, but back when this episode was released, this was the first time any of this had been explored, of course. And in this episode, you can see that yes, he's younger, but he's not like so much younger as he is in his A3 form in Forever is a Long Time Coming. So the new toy, very specifically a War Dawn nod, which is cool because it's one of my favourite episodes. Now that alone is enough to kind of set it apart from the Legacy toy, in my opinion, right? Like you've got the younger version, the older version, you can see there's a difference. But there is more. First up, they've given him a rather funky new spaceship alternate mode. And this isn't based off nothing either. It's actually a really deep cut. You see, it's based off a piece of unused concept art, which was created by IDW artist Casey Collar for the Transformers Ironhide limited series. In the concept art, you can see it's actually identified as a Cybertronian hovercraft, not really a spaceship at all, but whatever the case, I think this is such a cool deep cut. I love it when they do stuff like this, just like going back to find the most niche piece of Transformers history that they can to represent in toy form. There is also plenty to say about the accessories with this guy. First up, he comes with the legendary Covenant of Primus. Now this is something that either makes people very excited about Transformers history or it kind of makes people groan a bit, I guess. It was first introduced in Beast Wars, believe it or not, brought in by Simon Furman right at the end of the cartoon as a kind of legendary artifact that could predict the future. It's since been used in other media too, most notably in the Aligned continuity, where it was retconned to have been written by Alpha Trion. And it details the history of Cybertron and the original 13 Transformers and just like everything back to before time began, basically. And as I say, it's cropped up in plenty of other media since, but I think the really cool thing to mention is that you can actually buy your own copy of the Covenant of Primus that details a lot of the history of the book as well, but it comes in this really natty Autobot logo design case that kind of unfolds and everything, released in 2013. It's not something I own, but it looks pretty swish, right? Now, interestingly, this Alpha Trion accessory is not the first miniaturized version of the Covenant that we've had in toy form. You see, there was one that came with the BotCon 2015 exclusive Galva Convoy figure, although that was intended to represent the Beast Wars version. And good luck getting your hands on that thing anyway, right? Like, it's pretty hard to find these days. But this new one is the first released at retail as an accessory anyway. And the new toy also includes a little Quill, which is kind of hard to overlook, but it's actually a legendary Cybertronian artifact. Now, conceptually, this was introduced as working alongside the Covenant of Primus and quite literally giving Alpha Trion the ability to write the future into existence, which I have to say, as far as the lore goes, is not really my jam, but it's an interesting idea nonetheless. And as ridiculous as it sounds, it's still pretty fun to see it in toy form here, right? Now, another key element of this toy that I think is super cool but really easy to overlook is the removable Autobot logo, specifically because this is another very niche deep cut to the early days of the Transformers cartoon. Now, it's back to that forever is a long time coming story. I know I said this is technically not A3, but it is a nod to that, and it's so cool. See, in that episode, A3 and the other Cybertronians are still in the throes of Quintesson slavery. So this is all long before the Golden Age that we talked about in War Dawn, and indeed the war with the Decepticons. And in order to subjugate the Autobots, the Quintessons have these Dark Guardians, which are kind of like massive evil Omega Supremes. Anyway, it's suggested that A3 has the ability to freeze the Dark Guardians using what's called a Coda remote, but crafty individual he is, he's hidden it. You can probably see where this is going. Yes, it actually turns out to be the Autobot brand that he's got on his chest, which at this point in history was a symbol of Quintesson oppression, but Alpha Trion had always intended to turn it into a beacon of hope instead, and he does that by turning it into the Coda remote. So it's just like a really cool nod towards the history of the character, the Autobot brand itself, the whole history of Cybertron, all represented in this one very small accessory. So for my money, I've got to be honest, yes, I think there is absolutely room for this toy alongside the Legacy effort. I mean, we've had how many Optimus Primes in recent memory, including some that represent Orion Pax, his younger self? So if we can't make room for 2 Alpha Trion toys, then what are we even doing here? Anyway, needless to say, I think the Age of the Primes figure looks wicked, and I can't wait to get my hands on it. Do still need to track down the Legacy one though, so that's next on my list. But anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this little deep dive into what this new toy represents, and if you'd like to see more stuff like this, then please do let me know in the comments. Of course, I'd also be eternally grateful if you can hit that like button, please, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Go on, do it now. Otherwise, keep your eyes peeled and get the notifications on, because I've got more reviews on the way very soon and lots more videos planned. But otherwise, that's it from me today, so have a great rest of your day. TTFN.